try to take it off. All right. Well, good evening, and it's my pleasure to be here. It was a nice day to drive from Laramie, so that makes it even better. Hopefully it'll be a nice day tomorrow to drive home. John is also my wingman because there is no clicker, so we have not practiced this, so please forgive us if we're a little rusty on changing the slides. But I am at the University of Wyoming. I've been there 28 years, and I have coached and worked with thousands of students over that time, and I don't want to offend anyone that works for the university, but I have the best job on campus because what I do is work with students as they're starting to think about what does it mean after college. You know, most of our students have gone kindergarten through college. They're good at that system. They understand the education piece, and they have a goal, but they're not sure what it is. So in working with students, I'm going to share some things tonight with you that I've learned about this current generation. So this is Generation Y, or the millennials, and in my opinion, I think they get a really bad rap in the press. They're wonderful people. And I think maybe being at the University of Wyoming, we have a different mix of students that you might find than you might find in some other campuses. But I'm a member of a fairly elite group of career center directors from around the country, and we meet once a year to talk about, you know, students and marketing to them, and what are they thinking, and how can we help them, and then also on the employer side, what are their concerns. So some of the things I'm going to talk to you about tonight are a national perspective, but I'll give you my take on the University of Wyoming. But for the most part, I love our students. They're great, and they have great families that they come from, so it's a pleasure to work with them. But they do view the world, and especially work, differently than probably any previous generation. So that's what we're going to talk about. But before I start, how many of you have students, or children, I'm sorry, that are between the ages of 18 and 25? All right, so these are your kids. So when I talk about parents, don't take that personally, okay? All right, so next slide. But stop there. Okay, for this age group, I have some giveaways. This is a great book that we give to students when they graduate called Life After School Explained. It's my favorite book. It talks about everything about how to eat in public, how to order wine, how to buy your first car, rent an apartment. Great page on how to buy an engagement ring. So I'm going to give this to anyone that can get my answers as I know them right. So the first question, what is the most important day of the year to the millennial generation? Oh, you all answered it. Okay, so nobody gets a book yet. Okay. It's my birthday. Now this is where parents start to play in, because from a very young age, these students have been made to feel special, right? So birthdays weren't just cake and ice cream. Birthdays were ponies and trips here or big planned events, and they're getting bigger every year. But these students feel special on their birthday. So you as an employer, if you fail to recognize that birthday, you get a black mark in their book. So make sure when you hire them, or as an intern, you know when their birthday is. And if you can give them the day off, that's even better. So birthdays are very important to this generation. This generation is very bright. They have had access to more information in their lifetime than we know as adults. So they know how to access information, how to find information. They're bright. Because they've been made to feel special, they've been also given opportunities to participate in different things that maybe previous generations didn't. The second piece, they're very socially conscious. We have exploding opportunities on our campus for students to do things for the greater good. Our volunteer service programs have grown exponentially over the last 5 years. So not only in our community, but we now have alternative spring breaks to major metropolitan areas, to different countries. Students want to have that experience at spring break, maybe than previous generations that went, well, from Wyoming, it was a long way to Florida, so maybe they went to Arizona. But you know, they really want to give back. They're very socially conscious. They're very concerned about their futures in terms of our planet and what's happening with that. They're also team players. They like doing things in groups. We get a lot of criticism because we make them do a lot of group projects, but we know that if they have that opportunity, one, they're probably going to have some real conversation, which is an interesting thing that I'll talk about in a minute. But in your community, if you don't have a group of people that are close to this age group, as an employer, you need to help them find a group to connect with. and do some things that will keep them in your community. And I know that's often a problem in some Wyoming communities where there's just not a collective group of people, 24 to 28. But they really like working in groups, they like being together, they're socially conscious, and I think they're very bright. Wyoming students are well-grounded. They have good values, and the students that we have that come to our institution, employers come back year after year because of their work ethic, which they don't find in every campus. But a lot of our students have grown up on a ranch or a family farm or a business. They've worked from a young age. A lot of our students work while they go to college, although that's decreased with the Hathaway Scholarship, which is an interesting phenomenon because we used to have about 50% of our students that worked at least 20 hours a week. But the Hathaway has changed that a little bit. But they have a good work ethic. They're well-grounded. They come from a good stock, if you will. They're digital natives. They grown up with technology their whole lives. I have a friend, he's the director of admissions, Noah Buckley. I don't know if you've ever met Noah. He has a son that will be 2 in June. When he comes home from work, his son says, iPad, iPad, iPad. He's not even 2. He loves the iPad. And then Noah says he'll go up to the pictures on the refrigerator and try to push them and make them move. These kids grew up with technology. They're natives. We're immigrants. And some of us are not good immigrants, but technology is a part of their world. So at work, do you let them have Facebook?
Not during business hours.
Okay, so they're going to wonder why, because that's been a part of their life. We're having an interesting conversation on campus. And in fact, I was just speaking with a professor in zoology today where, a huge issue in the classroom is the cell phone. And syllabuses devote paragraphs to turn off your cell phone, I'm going to take it, whatever. But they're not, right? Because they're really good at not looking at their phone while they text, unlike me, who has to have it right here. But, this is who they are. So the discussion is, if we can't make them stop, then how do we go to their world? So we're talking about things that you can use with a cell phone in the classroom. Instead of clickers to answer questions, can you have a phone app that they can answer the questions through their cell phone? So it's just that, they're expecting Facebook. They're expecting opportunities to stay connected through technology. So I will ask another question, and hopefully you all don't know the answer to this one. How many people are on Facebook right now? I mean, not looking at it, but in the network. You are right. You get the book. Although other people raise their hand. Okay, I'll ask another one because I feel bad because I just kind of went straight to her. So some of the companies that they're really interested in. Yeah, I gave her, we were having some cocktails at the bar. No, she is. It is a great book. So one of the most popular companies that students always think they want to work for is what? You don't get a book for this one yet. Right. Do you know how many job applications Google gets in a week?
2,000. No, a day. 2,000 a day.
Go up more.
5,000
But
a day.
I got to do the math. Nope, more than 5,000 a day. We're talking a week here. A little higher. Yes, you get the book. So Google has a corporate culture of what? It's fun. They've got climbing walls, they've got concierge, they've got everything that appeals to this generation. And I'm sure at Google, you're not only on Facebook, but you're also on Google. But that, that's something that they're intrigued by because it's an environment they see as a fun place to work. But it incorporates a lot of technology. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So the sun will come out tomorrow. This is an incredibly optimistic group of people, considering all that's happened in their lifetime. We have been at war for the majority of their adolescence. We've had Columbine. We've had 9/11. We've had a lot of things, but they're always thinking the sun will come out tomorrow. So that's what I love working with them, because it helps me keep a better perspective. But they don't see the future as bad. They have concerns, but they're optimistic. So they want to go to an environment that you all have, that's creative, that you're entrepreneurial, that you're thinking, outside the box. That appeals to them because of this optimism. The world is their oyster. This is the most global generation ever. They think of it as not the world, but what? The planet. They go to school with students from a lot of different countries. They live with people that speak different languages. They study abroad. Applications to the Peace Corps have jumped tremendously with this age group. They think that's a way that they can not just give back, but they can go out and see the world. They want to travel. They're not afraid to travel. They're comfortable traveling. So they are very global in their thinking and in their perspective. And if you look at how they take in information, it's through news sites on the internet, and they're not just, in Wyoming. They are global. So global is important to them. Boy, this hits it. I had a student, I teach a class with Steve Farkas, who's the Career Center Director in the College of Business. I had a student ask me, is it fun to be an adult? Well, how do you answer that? Yeah, it's great. So they do not see work as fun. They've seen their parents work hard, and they've seen what's happened to some of their parents in this economy. And so you see this group of students that will work. They know they're going to work, but they're tired. They don't want to work after college yet. They want to go have fun. So they see they have this window, which is going to play into something else I show you. They see they have this window where they better go out and have fun. They better go be a ski patroller. They better go travel. They better go do all of these things, because once I go to work, it's no fun. So you as the employer have to help them see that it might not be fun in the perspective that they see it, but it is great to work and it is fun. That's a huge contrast to my generation, which we did things linear. We went to college, we graduated, we got married, we went to work, we never looked back, and this has been our life. They want that flexibility right out of college because they don't see it as being fun. So there's a brochure over there, and on the back is this graph that shows when we survey students at graduation what their plans are. You will see a huge blue chunk, 40%, are just now looking for jobs at graduation. So you as an employer need to help them see that work can be fun. And you may not see that as your role, but if you want them to come in and be successful, now that doesn't mean you have a party every day, but they need to see what your business does and how it works, and that will intrigue them because they're bright, and then they'll see the fun in work. Okay, parents. Parents come to college now. We actually had a parent ask, where do we house the freshman parents the first week of class? Well, we don't house the freshman parents. We want you to go home. We'll house your students. But parents, and I have a 23-year-old and a 26-year-old, so I'm right there, because of technology, are always connected to their children. And so parents come to college. We've only had a couple of parents at career fairs, but I have heard stories from other colleagues at other schools where parents are also involved in this employment decision. So they may not be up front at the career fair, but believe me, that student's going to the parent for information, feedback, and perspective. So as strange as it may seem, you may need to also court the parents or know that the parents are in that loop. So parents are a part of these kids' lives, and that's not going away soon. They've grown up in a very structured world. So kids nowadays have play dates, they have soccer practice, they have violin practice, they go to school, they have projects. It's very structured. So if our students go kindergarten to college, when they get to college, if the parents launch them to us, we still need a lot of activities and ways to keep them engaged because that's what they know. If you look at just the preponderance of safety things that are now out there, we should wear bike helmets. We should wear helmets when we ski. Great things. I just saw in the news the other night that they're not now going to allow wiffle ball for recess because someone could get hurt. So we've created this safety need for safety, which is good. But again, they're very aware of that, and they're very conscious of the structure in their lives. And sometimes they struggle when they get to college because we don't call them in the morning and say, "You're going to class?" So they sometimes get themselves in trouble for a while because they've been so structured. Respect is very important. It's not them respecting you, it's you